What is going on, everybody? Hey, it's just Rules. Back again with another video. This is I don't want to say it's a special or a rare video. It is a little bit different because I don't have a hat on. You can see my luscious / terrible hair. But we're here for Shooting the Breeze, number 14. And this one should not be that long because I'm not in the best mood. So I do want to get this out there. Why am I not in the best mood? My Xbox controller broke. The RB does not work whatsoever. My old controller, the left stick's jammed, so that's the one I'm using for now. But again, the main reason I'm upset is I hate spending money, especially on things that you don't plan. But that's why you save money. And at the end of the day, I would have had to. It's very, very, very difficult to keep the same controller through a lifespan of a controller / consoles lifetime. So I would have eventually had to get a controller, but I at least wanted to have it planned and whatnot. But having it happen out of nowhere definitely bums me out. But again, I gotta get a controller because this week is the first week of the playoffs on my Packers franchise series. Hopefully check that out. If you want to see me get very angry, watch the latest episode and you'll see what the hell happened. We got some NFL and NBA related things to talk about. I was going to talk about the biggest thing to happen this week in wrestling, but I already did that in my video yesterday in my How I Would Book Full Gear video, that being the AEW debut of Adam Copeland / Edge. Like I said, everything that I would have said about that, I said in the video. I wish he would have came out to Never Gonna Stop Me. There's a lot of good things that come from him going to AEW. I can understand why WWE fans are the way they have acted about this, but at the end of the day, I'm happy to just see him competing and whatnot. But I just felt there's way too much negativity and something that should have been very positive. But like I said, if you want full in-depth, check that video out. If you just want to know what the hell I suggested for this full gear car, I'm already on a roll. Because I suggested the main event be MJF versus Jay White, and tonight on Dynamite, they confirmed that, but we kind of had already seen that direction being built up before the video was announced and before Dynamite tonight, so, it's just logical things there. But enough of that crap. Now it's time to talk about something that we were talking about last week. Jrue Holiday being traded again. I was very bummed out in the Damian Lillard trade that they traded Jrue Holiday to the Trailblazers just because I didn't want to see him there. But I was like, I will feel a lot better about this trade once we see Jrue Holiday traded again. And he got traded to the Boston Celtics. And I might have a different standpoint on this. So, this trade, and it was Jrue Holiday for Robert Williams III, Malcolm Brogdon, and 2 first-round picks. From the Trailblazers' perspective, you got Malcolm Brogdon, who you most likely aren't keeping. The problem is I don't know how many teams would want Malcolm Brogdon. I probably should have wrote some down, but this is good. I don't know what team would. Bulls, if they had the money to make it work, maybe Minnesota. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but it's just I think a lot of teams, every team would want to have Malcolm Brogdon on their team. I just don't know if every team's willing to sacrifice key pieces for it. But the main thing is I didn't see Malcolm Brogdon come back to the Celtics or working out with the Celtics just because he thought he was done deal traded to the Clippers. That would have been a good situation for him to be in, but that trade got stopped because the Clippers didn't want Brogdon because of his injury history, which is where I'm getting into this. A lot of the consistency that I'm seeing is from the Celtics, this is a big win because they got rid of 2 injured players to get Jrue Holiday, who was going to be their Damian Lillard stopper. So it's very weird because, I like thinking of things sports related in a wrestling sense. And now in the Eastern Conference, we have this triple threat of beef going on with these Eastern Conference teams with the Bucks, Celtics, and Heat. And I kind of look at the Heat as Daniel Bryan, and I'm trying to decide WrestleMania 30, if you know what I'm going with. I'm trying to decide, would the Bucks be Batista or they be Randy Orton? Meaning that the Celtics would be Batista. You get the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to lump the Heat into this because they wanted both Damian Lillard and Jrue Holiday, and they didn't get either. And they still haven't made a move, and they're probably going to run the same roster back, but, it is what it is. They need to do something. I would like to see them do something, but We'll see when that happens. Nothing's happened yet. Maybe they get on Malcolm Brogdon. Back to the Celtics, and kind of the main thing I'm negative with. And I've seen a couple of people sharing this opinion / sentiment. I would not want to play for the Celtics from the standpoint of they have a history now. And I would imagine a lot of teams probably have this history, but the Celtics are kind of the most noteworthy, where guys are willingly sacrificing and playing for this team, and they're injured, and they never recover right. Now, off the top of my head, and I might forget some, the main two that come to mind are Isaiah Thomas and Kemba Walker, who both sacrificed to play playoff, meaningful basketball minutes. In the case of Isaiah Thomas, he got screwed out of millions of dollars because he never got re-signed. He was just never really the same Isaiah Thomas that we saw prior to that. And then the first moment that they got to trade him, they did. With Kemba Walker, it was in the bubble. He slowly started getting injured, and then the next season, he was just never 100% right. First chance they got to trade him, boom. Now, again, there's kind of a gray area there. And then, now, the main thing that I kept seeing with this trade was, the Celtics should have kept Robert Williams, but he was never healthy. Which I kind of think is a little bit bullcrap. And even in the case for Malcolm Brogdon, the main reason he didn't get traded earlier is because there's an injury concern. And that concern did not come until he was with the Celtics. Also, they traded Marcus Smart after they said they weren't trading him. I know, at the end of the day, it's a business. And we could have this whole big debate on should loyalty and whatnot. But I just think the Celtics just now have a bad track record. But at the end of the day, they're a premier franchise. There's definitely going to be players that want to play there. Just me personally, I wouldn't want to do that. And even in the case for this team, I feel the only guy that is safe at the end of the day, at the end of the season, is going to be Jason Tatum, because he's their franchise guy. If Jaylen Brown has a bad playoff series, they've wanted to trade him for years. But they gave him the extension because they knew they weren't going to get anything better than him. And they're in this contending window. But in the case of Jaylen Brown, he is luckier than the other guys because A, he did get the big payday, and B, he would more likely get traded to a team where he is the first option. So not only is he getting the money, but he's getting to do what he more than likely wants to do and be a first option. But in the case of Porzingis and Jrue Holiday, if they crap the bed in the playoffs, they're just, I know, again, logically, that should be the sentiment. If you're bad and you can get somebody better for that player, you do it. But it's just the Celtics now have a track record. From the sentiment, again, though, the Celtics have a very dominant team. And the whole debate now is who's better between the Bucks and the Celtics. I have the Bucks a little bit higher just because, A, we know they've won a championship before, and B, I feel they have the top two guys in Lillard and Giannis. So instead of Tatum and Brown, which one would you rather want? I'd probably take Giannis and Dame, but I didn't really plan on getting in that debate. But both teams will have depth issues, which in the playoffs aren't the biggest deal. But, we have not started the season. We have 82 games. It's 82 plus, counting the preseason. What starts this week? Good for that. Jrue Holiday got traded to the Celtics. Again, I was also a little bit bummed out he didn't get traded to the Nets because I went on a whole tangent saying this would be perfect for the Nets. Just for him to go to the Celtics, who they already had one big trade and they just made another. But at least they're going all in. So, to recap my thoughts on this, I hate that the Celtics keep trading injured players, and I hate that players keep getting injured for the Celtics, and then they're just we're not trusting you at all. Bye. I just think that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. For Jrue Holiday, hopefully that doesn't happen to him, and hopefully he's successful in Boston, but I would prefer to see him in Brooklyn. But the whole thing I was saying about last week is I feel better about the Dame trade once Jrue Holiday's traded, and he's traded to a team. Now, it's kind of the same thing with Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon on the Blazers, but it seems the Blazers are committed to keeping Tom Lord. I don't know if him and Ayton would work out as a power forward center duo or Tom Lord coming off the bench for him, but hopefully it works out, and I'm intrigued to see what the Blazers could get for Malcolm Brogdon, or do they just hold on to him, but that will more likely be answered in the coming months and weeks. I was going to say weeks. is more likely going to be months when that gets answered. So now that we're done talking about the Jrue Holiday trade, the meat and potatoes now, my NFL predictions. Week 4. This is the good thing. We've moved on to a new notebook, but I had to keep the old notebook to go over my Week 4 predictions. This is my Week 5. I've not marked yet. There's also my Jrue Holiday notes if you wanted in on that. Week 4, I went 11 for 16, which so far this season, Week 1 I went 8 for 16. Week 2 I went 9 for 16. And Week 3 and Week 4 I went 11 for 16. So we've progressed every week. I picked the Packers to win. They didn't beat the Lions. I picked the Jaguars, Rams, Ravens, Vikings to win. They all won. I picked the Bengals, Saints, and Dolphins all to win. They all lost. Broncos and Eagles won. Steelers didn't win. Chargers, 49ers, Cowboys, Chiefs, Seahawks won, which leads to that 11 and 16 record. And this is the first week of bye weeks. And if I am correct, the teams on their bye this week will be the Chargers, Browns, Buccaneers, and Seahawks. Hopefully all of them get healthy, especially Browns, but mainly the Chargers because they've been very beaten up. Like at the very end of the Raiders game, Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert got beat, like his hand hurt. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like y'all just need like 5 more minutes. You gotta last 5 more minutes, but hopefully he'll be okay. I think he will be. But we have 14 games to predict if I counted correctly. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Here we go. First game. Bears at Commanders. The Commanders are a very good team. The Bears have their moments, but they've yet to win a game. I don't expect them to win this. If there's ever a game they could win, it might have been last week. I don't even know if you could even say this week, but I'm going to pick the Commanders. Thursday night football game. Next, Jaguars at Bills, but this game is in the United Kingdom in London. Bold. I don't know how or why. I probably could look it up, but at this moment, I don't know. The Jaguars are playing back-to-back weeks in London, which I think is a bit nuts, but at least they stayed over because I was like asking myself, like, are they going to like come back, then go back? I don't think that like was logical at all. It's just like, I also think it's logical for them to play back-to-back weeks there, but they were able to beat the Falcons. But the Bills have once again came out of their shadows. If week 1 did not happen, the Bills, I think, would be the best team in the AFC. And to be honest, they're neck and neck with the Chiefs. I'll say the Dolphins are slightly behind them because I think the Dolphins are still a good team. But, you can't have them above the Bills because they did just lose to the Bills. That wouldn't be that logical. But it's definitely a great debate to have. I'll also throw in the Ravens. I'm very high on the Ravens this year. But that being said, I think the Bills are going to continue their momentum and win this game. And hopefully the Jaguars can, put a complete game together. It's just, it hasn't seemed that, both sides, offense and defense, have had, a full... This is the closest one when they play the Falcons, a complete game. And I think, again, it'll be very difficult to have that against the Bills. Next, the Saints at the Patriots. I'm going to predict the Saints. Now, I will say this. I don't remember picking the Saints last week because I was like, Derek Carr's hurt. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't remember picking the Saints, but apparently I did. So I'll take the L on that. Also, again, I didn't expect Derek Carr to play, and he did play. I don't think he should have, but I think after a week, he should be healthy this time around. I have the Saints winning this one. Hopefully, I will remember I did pick the Saints this week, though. Next, Titans at Colts. It's a bit difficult. Hopefully the Titans continue what they did last week. The Colts are a better team than they have been the past previous years. Jonathan Taylor might play this week. As of this moment, we don't know. But I think I'm going to stick with the Titans. Next, I'm very high on this team right now. The Ravens at the Steelers. I know this is a very big divisional rival. I think I'm going to stick with the Ravens. I think it's going to be very difficult for me to go against the Ravens any week, especially because Lamar is one of my fantasy quarterbacks. I always keep an extra tab on him. Next, the Panthers at the Lions. After seeing what the Lions are capable of and the Panthers still not having a victory, I think it would be the smart thing to pick the Lions. But, Panthers, I want to be rooting for you this week. I'd love to see the Lions lose, especially to a team that hadn't won a game yet. Texans at Falcons. I don't like being mean. Probably the game I'm least interested. Actually, that's a lie. I just lied fully. I want to give the Texans a lot of credit. A lot of people going into the year thought they were the worst team in the league. I personally didn't think that. But if you were to ask me, who the hell did I think? I don't know. I don't like thinking that way. I'm just not that interested in the Falcons. I think after I watched them play the Packers, the Falcons very much in my eyes are literally just Bijan Robinson, and it really bothered me that we could not figure out how to stop him. I know Desmond Ridder is getting a lot of hate, but, you know, I feel that a lot of people would say, hey, the Falcons would be a better team without him. You know, that's something that we'll have to see down the line. But I wanted to mainly say, I want to give the Texans a lot of credit. A lot of people think they suck. I don't, and they at least are going out there and dominating. C.J. Stroud has looked great as a rookie. And that being said, I think they're going to continue their momentum, and I pick the Texans in this game. That being said, though, part of the game I'm least interested in. So that was I was going to say was going to be the worst game, was my original statement I was going to make. But the Texans, I think, are a good team. But that being said, the game I'm least interested in. So that was the whole thing I was trying to say there. Part of the second game I'm least interested in, the Giants at the Dolphins. The Giants have just crapped the bed week after week, and they would have beat the Cardinals, and that definitely bothers the hell out of me. But I think the Dolphins are going to come out looking for revenge because it was supposed to be a big-time matchup against the Bills. The first half, that was the case. The second half, it definitely wasn't. They might have been a bit embarrassed. I think they're going to recover, and also they're in Miami this week. So I'm picking the Dolphins. Next, Bengals at Cardinals. The Bengals are 1-3 at the moment. Now, I said week 3, when they faced the Rams on Monday Night Football, the red button is out on the table. I'm not going to say it was a must-win, but for their season to matter, they would have to push that red button if they lost. And then they won it. The red button got put away. Then they played the Titans, and it was the same crap we were seeing the first 2 weeks. We know Joe Burrow's not right. The team just isn't looking like that top contender this year. And it's just weird because normally when a team goes through this, we think it's going to continue. At some point, I feel it will change for the Bengals. And the same thing, I'll say this about the Cardinals, the same thing I said about the Texans. A lot of people thought they were the worst team in the league, and Josh Dobbs has proved that he's very good and he's been capable. And they've had some other guys there that, you know, I think the person that needs the most credit is Josh Dobbs. But I think the Bengals need to win this. If they don't, that red button will have to come back out. Next, Eagles at Rams. The Rams give a lot of credit too. They beat the Colts, and they've done all this without Cooper Kupp. And as a fantasy owner of Cooper Kupp, I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you're ready to come back, Cooper Kupp. He might come back this week. He might not. It will be difficult because he is facing the Eagles, who are still undefeated. But a lot of people are like, hey, these are not the same Eagles from last year. The most that we hear people talk about the Eagles is the QB sneak play, which I don't think it should be banned. That's kind of been the main topic with it. I just it would kind of be stupid to ban something that actually happened. If it was hurting people, I can understand. It's just if you were able to stop it once, then maybe that argument will change. But we still yet to see that. And I kind of just went on a whole tangent, not even talking about this game. Actually, it'll be somewhat interesting in this game. So I'm picking the Eagles. Just because they're still undefeated. But if the Rams were to pick up the win, major kudos to them. Next, Jets at Broncos. Beginning of the year, this is supposed to be a highly anticipated matchup because Nathaniel Hackett, we used to coach the Broncos, and then Sean Payton, who's the coach now, was crapping on him. And all the Jets are like, hey, that's our guy. That's our guy. Why are you talking about him like that? But the Broncos are kind of in the same situation this year that they were last year, except they were able to pick up a win against the Bears, which, it's always nice seeing the Bears lose. And Zach Wilson, I will admit, my bold predictions this year, because I said the Jaguars are going to beat the Chiefs, that didn't happen. I said last week was going to be the last week we saw Zach Wilson starting this year. And he came out and played a good game. They didn't win, but at least he didn't crap the bed. I think he's going to continue that this week. Because the Broncos, we haven't seen anything from them this year to shut that down. All their teams that they face have scored a lot of points. And the Jets have good offensive guys on there. Now, Zach Wilson's kind of the exception. I'm picking the Jets. Next, big time matchup, the Chiefs at the Vikings. It's going to be difficult not to pick the Chiefs, so I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I also don't know if you know this or not. I'm about to crap my pants, so I'm trying to quickly, if you start seeing me get closer, I might actually crap my pants, but that's kidding. Next, the game that is in the thumbnail. This is a playoff rematch, Cowboys at 49ers. The last thing I remember, it's weird because they played the last 2 years, and I keep thinking that last year, or this year when they played, was when they didn't get to snap off, and then the year before is when Ezekiel Elliott got blasted, but it's the other way around. But I think, and again, those are your last two plays as the Cowboys in winnable situations. It definitely seems like they got blown out, and like they're embarrassed, but like they got embarrassed on their own accord, kind of. But the 49ers have continuously been a dominant team this year, and I don't think that's going to slow down. But I do think it's going to be a closer game because, like I said, these other two games were close. It was just like the endings, how they ended, you would have thought it was a blowout and an embarrassment. But I'm going to pick the 49ers. But if the Cowboys win, I will give my kudos. And then last but not least, Monday Night Football, the game I'm looking forward to the most. But I can enjoy my Sunday because my team isn't playing. The Green Bay Packers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The first time that we will go against Davante Adams since he left the team. And I know there's rumors that he might come back because he might ask for a trade. I know that was kind of a topic last week, not this week. And that's not... Maybe I would love to see like Davante like talking to one of our guys and then talking like this, because anytime that happens, there's like speculation. Oh, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? And we never know because you can't read lips and you can't hear what they're saying. But as always, I am biased. I'm picking my Green Bay Packers to win. And then the next week, they're on their bye week. So, less Packers football for me. So, that's my Week 5 NFL predictions. That's my thoughts on the Jrue Holiday trade. Hopefully, I can get an Xbox controller very soon. That way, we continue the Madden franchise, and I can just keep playing my Xbox. But I'm going to use the restroom. Hopefully, if you use the restroom, you wash your hands, and you stay safe. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.